Hello, it's Kit Allowitz with another session, short session on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People series. By now, this is the last video. You've got to have gone through the 7 Habits. Did you like it? Did you really like it? So I'd like to give you my final brief biased perspective or angle on how the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is truly one of the smartest books ever written. Why? Because Stephen R. Covey, the author of the material, took natural laws, he took habits, and he organized the habits into a sequential fashion to truly offer a solution to truly living a highly effective life, whatever that means for you. So today we'd like to cover the final habit, one of my favorites. Habit number 1 might be my all-time favorite. Habit number 7 probably also is somewhere in there as my top 7 favorite habits. That's that. So habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. This habit is all about personal and professional renewal. If you don't take time to take care of your greatest asset, which is, by the way, you will no longer have the ability to take care of things that matter most to you. Habit number 7 is coined sharpen the saw from the idea that if you are cutting down a tree and you never take the time to stop and sharpen the blade of the saw, over time it will become very difficult to eventually impossible to keep sawing through the wood with a dull blade. The blade will get dull and you will no longer be able to perform. You must take time to stop cutting to sharpen the saw. Initially, it can feel like you are actually slowing down to have to stop and sharpen the saw. But don't be fooled. You actually will save time and energy and life by slowing down to sharpen, renew, and invigorate. Now, there are 4 dimensions to sharpening the saw. They are physical, mental, spiritual, and financial. Each dimension requires your attention. Failure to do so will catch up with you. For example, if you neglect your health, it will catch up with you. If you neglect your mind and your learning, it will catch up with you. If you neglect your spiritual side, which can be as simple as connection with purpose and peace, it will catch up with you. And finally, if you neglect the financial aspects of your life, it will catch up with you. By taking time to sharpen the saw, Dr. Covey calls it the 4 L's: to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. You continuously invest in your greatest asset, which is you. I invite and encourage you to take a brief look at your sharpen the saw current capabilities or propensities. Are they balanced? Are you taking time to care for each one of them? What happens if you did? What happens if you don't? Okay, so if you can believe it, this concludes our 7-part series on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, describing each of the habits. Because Stephen R. Covey, the author of the book, took natural laws, principles, organized them into habits, and then put them in a sequential order, it truly creates an unbeatable way to look at your life and truly produce something that's magical and highly effective, however that tends to show up for you. So let's conclude our series by covering an overview of what the 7 habits are to remind you as you go out and live and breathe and do the 7 habits. Each of the 7 habits, as a reminder, builds on each other towards mastery. A habit, as you remember, is simply the overlay of knowledge, skill, and desire. Knowledge is what to do, skill is how to do it, and desire, that's the harder part, is having the will or the want to do something. And at the core, we remember from our first video, we talked about one of the theories is at the root of most failed goals is perhaps a lack of desire or a strong enough desire. Here's another theory. The way that we see the world drives what we do. What we do drives what we get, and what we get drives how we see the world. So to truly begin to get different results, we have to back up and spend some time looking at how we see the world. The 7 habits builds on each other. They begin at the level of dependence, which is I have to have someone take care of me, to independence, I can have someone else, I can take care of myself and others, to interdependence, which is the highest level, which is we can achieve the most by working together with others. This is the core of the 7 habits. Okay, so here's the final summary. Habit number 1, be proactive. This habit offers that by assuming full responsibility and accountability for results, everything changes. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. This habit offers the invitation to identify what truly matters most in your life, personally and professionally. And then habit number 3 says, go and do it, which is put first things first. This habit teaches to prioritize and to achieve our highest goals, we must give up reacting to all urgencies. Or keep them in balance. Habit number 4 is think win-win. This habit offers that by collaboration and working together, we can truly build relationships of trust and mutual benefit. Habit number 5 is first seek to understand, then to be understood. This habit offers the value of really tackling what communication is and how it works to achieve mutually beneficial outcomes with others. Habit number 6 is synergy. This habit teaches that through creative cooperation and collaboration, we can solve just about any problem and create every opportunity. And finally, habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. This habit teaches the immense value of internalizing and integrating continuous improvement and learning in our lives in all the 4 dimensions of life, which is to love, to learn, to live, to leave a legacy. We have created one short video per habit to give you more understanding and invite you in the final analysis to take the journey into internalizing, integrating, and finally institutionalizing the 7 habits of highly effective people into every aspect of your life. If you haven't already picked up on it, The 7 Habits is truly my favorite book of all time. Maybe that's come through some bias. Maybe you've figured that out on your own. Maybe I've helped convince you, or at least persuade you or invite you to consider that following all the habits can make you a more effective person. I invite you to become the 7. Breathe it, be it, do it, live it. I'm Kid Allowitz, and we'll see you next time.